In this module, we will study the application of the Huckel molecular orbital theory to butadiene. Huckel molecular orbital theory we have already learned in the earlier modules. As you already know, it is an approximate theory which is applicable to organic conjugated molecules. The basic assumption of this theory is the sigma and pi electron separability. That means pi electrons are treated to be moving in a field generated by the nuclei and the sigma electrons, and pi electrons are treated here separately. That's the basis of Huckel molecular orbital theory. It's basically a semi-empirical molecular orbital theory which is based on variation principle and the LCAO molecular orbital principles. We have already learned that in this theory we apply LCAO MO approximation in which molecular orbital is written by the equation. That means phi A is equal to summation I from 1 to n, then Ci psi 2pzi. Here psi 2pzi refers to the pi orbital centered on ith carbon atom, and Ci is the corresponding coefficient of the molecular orbital. So this is the approximate wave function which we use in Huckel molecular orbital theory. Once this approximate wave function is constructed using linear combination of atomic orbitals, which in this case are pi orbitals, then one finds out the approximate energy using variation principle. The approximate energy is given by EA is equal to integral phi A star h cap phi A d tau divided by phi A star phi A integral d tau. So this is the expression for the corresponding approximate energy in the Huckel molecular orbital theory. Here we don't need to explicitly know Hamiltonian, but please remember that Hamiltonian incorporates the effect of the interaction of the pi electrons with the rest of the molecule, which includes amongst others sigma electrons, all nuclei, etc. When this expression for the approximate energy is solved, we get the corresponding secular equations which in a determinantal form can be written as shown. Here it is. First determinant is H11 minus ES11, then H12 minus ES12, then it goes up to H1n minus ES1n. But in this case, presently we are showing it only for a 2-electron system. Similarly, the second row would be H21 minus ES21 and then H22 minus ES22. So this is the first determinant, and the second is C1 and C2. This is basically a column determinant, and this, the product of the two is equal to 0. If we expand these determinants, we will ultimately get two secular equations. In this case, the secular determinant is shown to be of order 2. But if there are n carbon atoms, each carrying one pi orbital, then the secular determinant would be of the order n by n. And then the question comes how to solve it. To solve the corresponding secular determinant, one makes certain approximations in the Huckel molecular orbital theory, and these are called the Huckel approximations. According to the Huckel approximations, Hij is treated to be corresponding equal to alpha if I is equal to j, and this is called a Coulomb integral. We have learned all these things earlier. Similarly, Hij is equal to beta if I is not equal to j and if I and j are linked to each other. If I and j are not linked to each other, then Hij is taken to be equal to 0. In the present case, Hij when I is not equal to j is taken to be beta, and that is called resonance integral. Similarly, according to the Huckel approximation, the corresponding Sij, which is also an integral, and that integral is psi I star psi j d tau, and this integral according to the Huckel approximation is taken to be equal to 1 if I is equal to j, and the corresponding integral, which is called the overlap integral, is taken to be 0 if I is not equal to j. Once we apply these Huckel approximations to the secular determinant, gets simplified and becomes, as you can see here, the first row is now alpha minus E beta, and the second row is beta and alpha minus E. Please remember, this is a simplified form of the secular determinant after incorporating Huckel approximations. What we have learnt is that how for a 2 pi electron system one has a secular determinant which using Huckel approximations can be simplified to a Huckel determinant, and whose solution ultimately gives 2 energy levels and the corresponding 2 molecular orbitals. The same argument can be extended to n pi electron system. In that case, we will have a secular determinant which is of the order of n, that means n by n determinant, and if we expand that n order secular determinant after applying Huckel approximations, we will get a polynomial equation which will have n roots, and that will give us n energy levels and n molecular orbitals. The energy of a particular orbital will be, and it is given by the expression E a is equal to alpha plus xa beta, where xa is the nth root of the polynomial. So that is basically how one gets the corresponding energy level, and using these we can also get the corresponding molecular orbitals. So this is what we know about HMO, and we have already learnt it in our earlier modules. What we did was, we did a recap of the basic principles of HMO, and now in this module we will apply this HMO theory to the next molecule. You remember earlier we applied it to ethylene, but in this case we will apply it to butadiene, and we will see how HMO simplifies the problem of butadiene. Now we will consider the application of Huckel molecular orbital theory to butadiene or 1,3-butadiene. The structure of butadiene, you can see how it looks like. We are assuming it to be a linear molecule, and we are labeling it the way it is shown. We have 4 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and each carbon atom is contributing 1 pi electron. And in accordance with HMO theory, this molecule will be considered as a 4 pi electron system. That's the basic of this molecule. Now, the first thing which we have to do in HMO, as you all know, is that we have to approximate the molecular orbital. So for this molecule, the molecular orbital can be assumed to be written in the following form. As you can see here, phi A is equal to C1 psi 2pz1. Psi 2pz1, please remember, is the pi orbital which is in the z direction and is centered on carbon atom labeled 1. Then the next is C2 psi 2pz2, then plus C3 psi 2pz3, and then plus psi 2pz4. So this is the corresponding approximate molecular orbital which we are considering for 1,3-butadiene in HMO. Using this molecular orbital and then applying variation principle, we, as we have learned earlier, will get secular equations which can be written in the secular form or a determinantal form. You can see here the first row is H11 minus ES11 and it goes up to EH14 minus ES14. And then the next row is H21 minus ES21 goes up to H24 minus ES24. And the last row in this part of the determinant is H41 minus ES41 and the last term is H44 minus ES44. And then we have a column determinant C1, C2, C3, C4 and this is equal to 0. You can see once again here that if you expand these equations, you will ultimately get 4 equations. Once we have got this, then we can apply Huckel approximations, which we have already learnt, that Hij is taken to be equal to alpha for I is equal to j, and Hij is taken to be beta if I is directly connected to j. And for all other values of I and j, they are taken to be 0. So you can see here that H11, H22, H33, H44 all will be ultimately equal to alpha, which is the Coulomb integral. Similarly, H12, H21, H23, H32, H34, H43, all these will be equal to beta, which is the resonance integral. For all other Hij, which are not directly connected to each other, we have already said that those values will be taken to be 0. Similarly, overlap integrals, if it is Sij, then for I is equal to j, it will be taken as 1, and Sij, if I is not equal to j, will be taken to be 0. So what it implies is that in the present case, S11, S22, S33, S44, all will be individually taken to be equal to 1. Whereas the corresponding S12 will be equal to S21, then S13 equal to S31 or S14 or S41, S23, S32, S24, S42, S34 and S43 all will be equal to 0 individually. These are nothing else but the consequences of the Huckel approximations. Now if we substitute these values of Hij's and Sij's in the above determinant, which is the secular determinant, one gets the Huckel determinant will ultimately come out to be, as you can see after some simplification. Please note that the column coefficient C1, C2, 3, etc., they cannot be 0. Therefore, the multiplying determinant will be 0, and that's basically the Huckel determinant after incorporating Huckel approximations. And this is given by the alpha minus E, beta, then 0. Then like that, the corresponding determinant looks very simple, and it is somewhat similar to what we got for a 2-electron systems. After having made Huckel approximations and after getting Huckel determinant, the next question is how to solve the Huckel determinant. So for solving this Huckel determinant, we put alpha minus E upon beta to be equal to lambda. And once we make this substitution, the corresponding Huckel determinant simplifies to the first row becomes lambda 1, 0, zeros. Then the second row becomes 1 lambda 1, 0, zeros. Then we have 0, 1 and so on, and like that the last row becomes 0, 0, 1 lambda, etc. So that's basically the Huckel determinant after making the approximation. This Huckel determinant, as we have seen, is quite simple, and this can be very easily expanded and then solved. And after expansion, we get, as you can see here, it becomes lambda to the power 4 minus 3 lambda square plus 1 is equal to 0. In this, we put lambda square is equal to z, and then it further gets simplified to z square minus 3z square plus lambda plus 1 is equal to 0. So this is a quadratic equation, and this can be very easily simplified, and ultimately, as you can see here, we get two values of z, and then from there we will get 4 values of lambda. As you can see, we get 4 values of lambda, and since lambda is equal to alpha minus e upon beta, therefore using these 4 values of lambda, we get 4 values of e's, and these represents the energy of the 4 molecular orbitals of butadiene. And these energies, as you can see here, are, if lambda is equal to plus 1.618, then the corresponding value of the energy of the molecular orbital is alpha plus 1.618 beta. And since you have already learned that alpha and beta both are negative, therefore this value will be ultimately negative, and we call this to be the bonding molecular orbital, BMO. Secondly, if lambda is equal to minus 1.618, we get corresponding E is equal to alpha minus 1.618 beta. Here beta is also negative, alpha is also negative, but since the second term is negative, so second term becomes positive, and therefore this is higher in energy, and therefore we will call it antibonding molecular orbital. Similarly, for other two values of lambdas, we can calculate the energy of the corresponding molecular orbitals. One becomes E is equal to alpha plus 0.618 beta, which is again a bonding molecular orbital, and the other one is E is equal to alpha minus 0.618, which is antibonding molecular orbital. So thus you can see that by the solution of the Huckel determinant, in the case of 1,3-butadiene, we get 4 values of the molecular orbitals, and these 2 are bonding molecular orbitals and the 2 are antibonding molecular orbitals. If these orbitals are arranged in an increasing energy fashion, then the bonding molecular orbitals will come at the bottom and the antibonding orbitals will come at the top. Based on these results, Huckel energy level diagram for butadiene molecule can be shown. You see here that we have at the bottom an energy orbital which has corresponding energy equal to alpha plus 1.61 beta. This is the bonding molecular orbital energy. Then we have next is alpha plus 0.618 beta. This is again a bonding molecular orbital. But since alpha plus 1.618 beta is lower in energy, therefore it is the corresponding molecular orbital with energy equal to alpha plus 0.618. And then we have antibonding molecular orbitals. The next in energy is alpha minus 0.618 beta, and then we have alpha minus 1.618 beta. So these are the 4 molecular orbitals drawn on the basis of the corresponding Huckel energy level diagram. And now, since you know that butadiene contains 4 pi electrons, these electrons have to be accommodated in these energy levels, in these molecular orbitals. And since a molecular orbital cannot contain more than 2 electrons, therefore the first 2 electrons will go to the bonding molecular orbital with energy equal to alpha plus 1.61 beta. And the next 2 pi electrons will go to the bonding molecular orbital with energy equal to alpha plus 0.618 beta. This gives us an overall HMO energy level diagram for butadiene. Based on this energy level diagram, one can very easily calculate the total pi bond energy of butadiene. And this you can see will be equal to 2 times alpha plus 1.618 beta plus 2 times alpha plus 0.618 beta, because 2 electrons are in each of these molecular orbitals. So total pi bond energy becomes equal to 4 alpha plus 4.472 beta. That is the total pi bond energy of 1,3-butadiene. And now, after having calculated the energy of the 4 molecular orbitals, now the next question is to find out the wave functions of these molecular orbitals for each of these energy values. And this very easily can be done by the corresponding secular equations with which we started. As you can see here, the secular equations look like as see here. First is lambda in terms of lambda, which we have already simplified, and then we have the coefficients column determinant, which will be C1, C2, C3, C4. If we expand this, we get corresponding 4 equations. Each equation is in terms of C1, C2, C3, C4, and each corresponds to corresponding 1 lambda value. So by substituting each lambda value, we can solve these 4 equations and get the corresponding values of the 4 coefficients C1, C2, C3 and C4. And once we have the values of these coefficients, we will have the wave functions for the corresponding molecular orbitals. As you can see here, that when lambda is equal to 1.618 beta, the corresponding coefficients become C2 is equal to minus 1.618 C1 and C3 is equal to plus 1.618 C1 and C4 is equal to minus C1. Similarly, for other values of lambda, we have the corresponding relationships between C1, C2, C3 and C4. And since we know also that the sum of the squares of these coefficients for any molecular orbital is equal to unity, that means C1 square plus C2 square plus C3 square plus C4 square is equal to 1, then using this equation and the corresponding relationships between the coefficients obtained above for each lambda value, we can get the exact values of the coefficients C1, C2, C3, C4 for each of these molecular orbitals. And these values come out to be, as you can see here, when lambda is equal to plus 1.61, then corresponding C1 is equal to 0.372, C2 is 0.602, C3 is 0.602 and C4 is 0.372. And similarly are given the values of coefficients C1, C2, C3 and C4 for other values of lambda. Now once we have got the values of these coefficients, these values of the coefficients can be substituted in equation which we have already discussed earlier for the molecular orbital, and then we will get the wave functions for the corresponding 4 molecular orbitals. Phi1 will be equal to 0.372 psi 2 pz1 plus 0.602 psi 2 pz2 plus 0.602 psi 2 pz3 plus 0.372 psi 2 pz4. So this represents the wave function of the molecular orbital, which is the bonding molecular orbital, and whose energy was alpha plus 1.61 beta. So here you can see that all the coefficients are positive. Since this is the molecular orbital 1, therefore 0.372 can also be designated as C11. Similarly, 0.602 will be C12. That means the coefficient of the molecular orbital 1 on carbon atom 2. Similarly, 0.602 will be C13, and lastly 0.372 will be the coefficient of the molecular orbital 1 on carbon atom 4. That means C14. And the same thing can be extrapolated to other molecular orbitals as shown here. Once we have got these 4 molecular orbitals, out of which 2 are bonding molecular orbitals and 2 are anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And as we can see from the equations, the pictorial representations of these molecular orbitals can be shown as given in this. You can see at the bottom we have Phi1, where the corresponding energy was alpha plus 1.61 beta, and you can see all the coefficients are positive. Therefore, you can see there is no node here. Above the plane we have positive and below negative, because all the coefficients in this molecular orbital were positive. If we go to Phi2, here the energy was equal to alpha plus 0.618 beta. So here you can see that the first 2 pi orbitals, which are on carbon atoms 1 and 2, they are having positive lobe up and negative lobes below. Whereas the next 2 atomic orbitals, that means the pi atomic orbitals, they have negative lobes up and positive lobes down. That means there is a node between carbon atom 2 and carbon atom 3. And this is very well be seen from the corresponding molecular orbital, because the coefficient changes sign as we go from carbon atom 2 to carbon atom 3. Extending the same arguments, now we go to anti-bonding molecular orbital. The first anti-bonding molecular orbital has the energy alpha minus 0.618 beta. And the corresponding pictorial representation of this molecular orbital, as you can see, is for the first carbon atom, the positive lobe is up, and for the second, positive lobe is below. So that means there is a change of sign of the coefficient as you go from carbon atom 1 to carbon atom 2, and so therefore there is a node between 1 and 2. But when we go from 2 to 3, the positive node still remains down and the negative node remains up. So there is no node between 2 and 3. But again, when we go from carbon atom 3 to carbon atom 4, again on carbon atom 4, the positive lobe comes up and the negative lobe comes down. So that means again there is a node between carbon atom 3 and carbon atom 4. And this you can very well see in the corresponding diagrams. These big dots basically represent the corresponding nodes. In the same way, now you can see yourself that for the highest energy orbital, that means the antibonding molecular orbital with energy equal to alpha minus 1.618 beta, there are correspondingly 3 nodes. So there is a change in sign of the coefficient as we go from carbon atom 1 to carbon atom 2. Then again, when we go from carbon atom 2 to carbon atom 3, and again when we go from carbon atom 3 to carbon atom 4. So as from this also one thing is very clear, that as the number of nodes increases, the corresponding energy of the molecular orbital increases. After having derived all this, now we will define a new term, and that is called resonance energy. Resonance energy is basically the difference in the energy of pi electrons in a molecule as compared to the sum of the energies of isolated double bonds. So now if we have to find out the resonance energy of butadiene, we will have to calculate the pi electron energy of butadiene and then compare it with the energy of corresponding two ethylene molecules. You already know, and we have already calculated it earlier, that the energy of an ethylene molecule, that means 2 pi electron system, is 2 alpha plus 2 beta. And if now we have to compare it with butadiene, we can see that the corresponding resonance energy would be equal to the total pi electron energy of butadiene, which we have calculated is equal to 4 alpha plus 4.472 beta. This is the total pi electron energy of butadiene. And now minus 2 ethylene molecules, because there are 4 pi electrons, so it becomes 2 times 2 alpha plus 2 beta. Therefore, this becomes equal to 0.472 beta. So resonance energy is basically a measure of the stability of a molecule. So in this case, we can say that 1,3-butadiene molecule is more stable than the 2 ethylene molecules by a factor of 0.472 beta. Please note that beta is negative, therefore it will be ultimately negative factor. And now we will define one more quantity, which is called pi bond formation energy. As you know that the energy of a pi electron in an orbital is alpha. That means if it is an isolated atom containing 1 pi electron, its energy is alpha. Now in butadiene, there are 4 pi electrons. So had they been all isolated, its total energy would have been 4 alpha. But in reality, in butadiene, the total energy is 4 alpha plus 4.472 beta. Therefore, how much more stable is butadiene as compared to 4 isolated pi electrons? That one can calculate by the following expression, and that is called pi bond formation energy, which will be equal to 4 alpha plus 4.472 beta minus 4 alpha. That means it becomes equal to 4.472 beta. So this is the pi bond formation energy of butadiene. In HMO theory, one can also calculate the total pi electronic charge on any carbon atom. The expression for the total pi electronic charge on nth carbon atom is given by, as you can see here, Qn is equal to summation Ni Cin square. Summation is over all i's. And here Ni is the number of electrons in the ith molecular orbital. If any molecular orbital is empty, then naturally the contribution will be correspondingly equal to 0. So this is the expression for finding out the total pi electronic charge on any carbon atom. Now using this expression, one can find out the total pi electronic charge on carbon atom 1, that means Q1. And you can see here that Q1 will be equal to 2. 2 is because the number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital is 2, then C11 square plus 2 C21 square, because second bonding molecular orbital also has 2 electrons. Rest of them have no electrons, so therefore their contribution is 0. And now if we put the values of the corresponding coefficients, which we have already discussed, as you can see here, the total value comes out to be 1. That means the total pi electronic charge on carbon atom 1 is equal to 1. Similarly, if you using this expression calculate Q2, Q3 and Q4 for other carbon atoms of butadiene, all will come out to be equal to 1. That means that all carbon atoms in butadiene have the total pi electronic charge equal to unity. Using the energies of the orbitals as well as the wave functions of the molecular orbitals, one can also calculate the pi bond order between adjacent carbon atoms using all things which we have calculated. Now, pi bond order between adjacent atoms A and B is given by the expression. As you can see, this is equal to summation Ni Cia Cib, and summation is over I. Naturally, summation here would also be over all those molecular orbitals which are occupied. So using this, one can very easily calculate the pi bond order between any two adjacent atoms. In the case of butadiene, if we calculate the pi bond order between carbon atoms 1 and 2, using the above expression, we will find that this value comes out to be 0.896. All the values which we have substituted, they are very obvious and we have discussed them many times. And since butadiene is taken to be a linear molecule, therefore by virtue of symmetry, pi bond order between carbon atoms 1 and 2 will be the same as the pi bond order between the carbon atoms 3 and 4. However, if we want to calculate the pi bond order between carbon atoms 2 and 3, then again using the same expression and substituting the corresponding values, we find that this pi bond order between carbon atoms 2 and 3 is equal to 0.448. Now please remember that in these calculations we have calculated the pi bond order. But please remember that there is also a sigma bond between any two adjacent atoms. Therefore, if we have to calculate the total bond order between two atoms, this will be sigma bond order plus pi bond order. And therefore, if we do that, we get the corresponding values. So the total bond order between carbon atoms 1 and 2 would be therefore equal to 1.896. Please see here that 1 is the sigma bond order and 0.896 is the corresponding pi bond order. Similarly, the bond order between the carbon atoms 2 and 3 would be correspondingly 1.448. Here again, once again, sigma bond order will be 1 and pi bond order between 2 and 3 would be 0.448. So in this module, today we have discussed the application of the Huckel molecular orbital theory to 1,3-butadiene. Huckel molecular orbital theory, as you all know, is an approximate method which simplifies variation method to treat planar organic conjugated molecules. The basis of this HMO is that the properties of these molecules are primarily determined by pi electrons. That means pi electrons can be treated separately from the rest of the molecule. So in the present studies, as we have discussed, we have shown how HMO can be applied to butadiene, and butadiene is treated as a 4 pi electron system. We got through simplification of the Huckel determinant, 4 molecular orbitals, 2 bonding molecular orbitals and 2 anti-bonding molecular orbitals. All these were obtained through the solution of the Huckel determinant. We also got the corresponding wave functions of the molecular orbitals through the simplification of the secular equations. We also noted that as the number of nodes in the wave function increase, the corresponding energy of the molecular orbital increases. We also introduced a term which is called pi bond energy, which is in the case of butadiene equal to 4 alpha plus 4.472 beta. We introduced another quantity called resonance energy, and this came out to be 0.472 beta, whereas the corresponding pi bond formation energy of butadiene is equal to 4.472 beta. We also discussed the expressions for the total pi electronic charge on any carbon atom, and also the pi bond order between any two connected atoms. So these are the things which we have discussed in this module, and found that HMO really is a big help in solving the problems of organic conjugated molecules, and especially here butadiene.